All right, negative numbers. Something you're likely to come across in life, and for sure, you'll come across in your exam. So the best way to explain negative numbers is to look at a thermometer. A thermometer covers a whole range of temperatures. The numbers above the zero are called positive numbers, and the numbers below zero are called negative numbers. And in maths, we normally show this as a number line. We have our zero, numbers above the zero we call positive. Sometimes we just write this as a plus, or we write plus with a VE after it. And the numbers below are negative. And sometimes you write this with a minus sign, or a minus sign with a VE. The other way you'll see this is as a horizontal line, where we've got positive on the right, here's our zero, and negative on the left. Now the lines don't suddenly stop. They go on indefinitely in both directions, so normally you'll see them written with an arrow on each end, meaning that they continue. And in my videos I tend to use a horizontal line simply because it fits better on the screen, but you can use vertical or horizontal. It's the same thing. Let's look at a very, very straightforward example. 3 take away 7. And sometimes you say 3 minus 7 or 3 subtract 7. It doesn't really matter what you say. People tend to interchange them. So let's do 3 take away 7. Draw our number line. This is our positive end. This is our negative end. We're starting at 3 and we're taking off 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we fill in the numbers. So coming down, 3, 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So 3 minus 7 is negative 4. And quite often people will say 3 take away 7 is minus 4. And they tend to use minus and negative interchangeably. Hopefully that was straightforward. Now let's look at something not quite the same, but very similar. Let's work out 3 plus negative 7. Okay, some people find this a bit strange, but you can think of it like this. Then I'll show you how to do this quickly. But you can think of it as something like having two bank accounts. In one bank account, you've got £3, and in your other bank account, you are what people say in the red, or you're in the minus, and you owe the bank £7. So you've got minus £7 or negative £7. So you've got £3 in one account and minus £7 in another account. The bank decides to merge your accounts together. So you've got £3 plus negative £7. And that leaves you with a total of minus £4 or negative £4. So mathematically, 3 plus negative 7 is exactly the same as 3 minus 7, which is negative 4. And this is how I would do it in an exam. 3 plus negative 7 equals 3 minus 7 equals negative 4. If you need to practice this, there are loads and loads of interactive practice questions on effectiveeducation.online. The link is below. Now sometimes you'll see questions written like this. Work out negative 7 plus 3. Again, this is very, very similar to the last one. Draw our number line. This time we're starting at negative 7 and we're adding 3. So negative 7, 1, 2, 3. Fill our numbers in and we end up at negative 4. So negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4. Or you could get, work out negative 7 plus negative 3. Again, we draw a number line. We're starting at negative 7 and we know from previously that negative 7 plus negative 3 is exactly the same as negative 7 take away 3. So negative 7 take off 3. 1, 2, 3. Put the numbers in. And we end up at negative 10. And if you need to practice this, there's loads of practice questions on effectiveeducation.online. All right, last thing on subtracting numbers. And this is something that some people have a lot of trouble with. And it's when you get something like this. Now we know 3 minus 2 is 1. We know 3 plus negative 2 is the same as 3 minus 2, which is also 1. Then you get something like 3 take away negative 2. And this can be troublesome for some people. So let's quickly look at how to do this, and then we'll look at the quick way of doing it. 3 minus 3 is 0. 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. 3 minus 0 is 3. So I've got a pattern here. Take away 3, take away 2, take away 1, take away 0. And then my answer is 0, 1, 2, 3. So my next thing would be 3 take away negative 1. And my next number in this pattern would be 4. 3 take away negative 1 is 4. And then in an exam, we would just say 3 take away negative 1 is the same as 3 plus 1 is 4. And a lot of schools teach this as two negatives make a positive. If that works for you, fine. 3 take away negative 1 is the same as 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. Now let's look at a couple of examples. Work out 5 take away negative 9. 5 take away negative 9 is the same as 5 plus 9. 5 plus 9 is 14. Another one, work out negative 9 take away negative 2. That's the same as negative 9 plus 2. And then we draw our number line. Negative 9 plus 2 takes us to negative 7. Let's look at multiplication and division. Multiplying and dividing. I actually think this is much easier than adding and subtracting negative numbers. So we know 3 times 4 is 12. So 3 times negative 4. Hopefully this is obvious. I've got 3 lots of negative 4, so I've got negative 12. Or negative 3 times 4 is also negative 12. Then we get to something like this, negative 3 times negative 4. You can think of this answer as negative negative. 3 times 4 is 12. So negative negative 12. And 2 negatives like this gives you a positive. Or you can think multiplying 2 negatives gives you a positive. Same thing. Typical questions are work out 7 times negative 6. 7 times 6 is 42. So 7 times negative 6 is negative 42. Or we could have work out negative 5 times negative 9. You can do this any way you want. So we've got equals negative negative 45. 2 negatives like this make a positive, so the answer is 45. Or you can think of it as multiplying 2 negatives gives you a positive, so very, very straightforward. And then you get something like this. Work out negative 2 times 3 times 5. So negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Then negative 6 times 5 is negative 30. So do them in steps. Very easy peasy. And the same with division. What is 36 divided by negative 9? 36 divided by 9 is 4, so 36 divided by negative 9 is negative 4. And the most complex this gets is what is negative 49 divided by negative 7. So if we look at 49 divided by 7 is 7. So negative 49 divided by negative 7 is negative negative 7. And the 2 negatives make a positive. So the answer is 7. Or you can just look at this as a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Very, very straightforward. There's loads of practice questions and examples on effectiveeducation.online. And if you understand the basics, questions like this are straightforward. The table shows some temperatures at midnight in Canada. We've got 4 towns, Banff, Norquay, Revelstoke and Calgary. 4 temperatures. Part A, what is the difference in temperatures between Norquay and Revelstoke? So Norquay is minus 4 degrees and Revelstoke is minus 6 degrees. You can draw a number line. We're starting off at negative 4. We're going down to negative 6, so we've gone down 2. So the answer is 2 degrees. Part 2. What is the difference in temperature between Calgary and Revelstoke? So Calgary is 5 degrees, Revelstoke is minus 6. So from 5 to minus 6, we've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and I'm marking the 0 in to hold my place. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, and then count these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the answer is 11 degrees. Now in your exam, don't do these in your head. Draw marks showing that you're counting. Make it easy so that you can follow your counting and not make silly mistakes. Get these marks. Obviously, you can do this any other way that works for you. And then the last part, in Revelstoke, the temperature drops by 11 degrees centigrade from midnight to 6 a.m. What is the temperature in Revelstoke at 6 a.m? So it starts off at negative 6 degrees. It drops by 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then write the numbers in, so negative 7, and I'm going to stagger these because they don't have enough space. Negative 8, negative 9, negative 10, negative 11, negative 12, negative 13, negative 14, negative 15, negative 16, negative 17. So the answer is negative 17. If you can do these without drawing the number lines and you're very, very confident, go ahead. Meanwhile, there's loads of interactive practice questions and examples on effectiveeducation.online. Thank you.